Lisa Bevere is a best-selling author and speaker who has spent 3 decades empowering women to find their identity and purpose.
That he is afraid of.
She says too often women feel they're on their own as they navigate life, and it's time to change that.
There is something on your life that needs to be connected and extended to somebody else's life.
In her book, Godmother, Lisa challenges women to come together and close the gaps in each other's lives so truth can grow and flourish.
Please welcome to the 700 Club Interactive, Lisa Bevere. Lisa, great to have you with us.
Hey, sorry about the dog barking. Come here, sweetie.
I get it.
Okay, this is locked down. So,
your pretty new book is called Godmothers. You say godmothers aren't characters in fairy tales, so what are they?
You know what? They are older women. And when I say older, you don't have to be old. You just have to be more mature than the women around you. So they're kind of best described as women ahead of us on the path. So you could be a 30-year-old and a godmother to a 15-year-old. You could be a 60-year-old and a godmother to a 40-year-old. Or you could be 80 and you can be the godmother to whoever the heck you want to be. So it is all about taking the treasury and the depth that life has worked in you and sharing those lessons for the next generation. You know, we all have prices to pay, but it is a shame when every generation pays the same price. I want my children to go further and farther. So I'm going to say, this is where I messed up. This is where you don't need to mess up.
Why does every woman need a godmother? I mean, are they, without knowing it, even searching for it?
You know, I really feel like Titus was kind of this dynamic where it says the older women must teach and train the younger women how to love their husband and train their children and to do good. So a couple of those things are rough. Like, it's easy to love your children and try to train your husband. But godmothers are like, nope, that's not the way it goes. You love your husband, train your children, and you do good. We all have gaps in our life, and a gap is, I guess, best described as the way things are versus the way they should be. And so a godmother will come alongside and help you close some of those gaps in your life. She remembers having those gaps and she's like, let me just help you navigate that a little bit. So it isn't that you have to do everything perfectly or know everything. You just have to know a little bit more than the person you're mentoring.
You really wished at a point in your life that you had a godmother. Tell us about that and how God birthed in you this concern for linking generations together.
Yeah, well, at about 30, I realized knowing what I didn't want to be wasn't enough to know how to build what I did want to build. And I began to cry out to God, God, I need a woman to help me be godly. I need a woman to help me be a mother. I need a woman to help me how to figure out this wife thing. And I looked for her for 8 years, Terry, and after about 8 years, I was praying. My husband had tricked me into doing a woman's meeting, and I was on my knees, and I said, God, I don't even like women. Is this some kind of joke? I have 3 sons. This is not something I'm prepared to do. And he answered me back. He said, I love women. He said, I created woman as the answer to the very first problem, and that is, it is not good for man to be alone. I'm like, okay, well, where's my woman? And he said, Lisa, there isn't going to be a woman to pour into you, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to ask you to pour out, not to pour out of your brokenness. And so he just challenged me, Terry, in that moment. He said, I'm going to ask you to be that woman that you wished you would have had. He said, write it backwards.
It was also at that time that God actually gave you a visual, a picture of a chain link descending from heaven. Tell us about that and what it represented.
So each of these links in the chain, and again, it wasn't like an imprisonment chain. It was like this beautiful links of a gold necklace. Each of these links represented a generation. And I saw this chain coming down. I couldn't see where it originated, but I could see it was coming from heaven. And then I saw it stop. And then I saw airspace about the size of one of the links. And then I saw an isolated link. And he said, there's been a breakdown from one generation to another generation. He said, but I don't want a mentoring of pride. I want a mentoring of brokenness. And so in that moment, I was just captivated by this space, this gap. And I thought, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to close that gap between the older women and the younger women so that they can connect and we can go further and farther.
Well, on the cover of your beautiful book, you're holding a wand and extending it. How can godmothers extend blessings to goddaughters?
Well, I think that they have this perspective of understanding at the most difficult moment of your life is usually when God is doing the most crucial thing. They have this ability to come alongside and say, this terrible moment in your marriage is going to be transformative. This terrible moment with your children, this terrible moment of a pandemic, this struggle season is going to be a season of strength in your next season. So they have perspective. I did love that Cinderella's godmother came along and transformed her rags into this beautiful gown because her good works and what she had been doing with courage and kindness was actually weaving a gown for her. And I believe that's what we're doing in the body of Christ right now.
Well, I just want to say to those of you who are with us today, whether you need a godmother or you want to be one yourself, get a copy of Lisa's book. It's filled with all kinds of wonderful wisdom and counsel. It's called Godmothers. It's available wherever books are sold. Lisa, so great to have you with us. It's always wonderful to see you.
Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive family, and God bless you.